is Transformation Tuesday, and so we feel led to do testimonies on this day at certain times. So we're gonna go ahead and just start with like me and Greg's testimony. We'll probably also come together and tell a testimony about like just us itself and how God moved between both of us to bring us together, because I believe that's a testimony in itself. But at this current time, Greg is out taking care of some vehicle maintenance that we have issues with right now going on. So I'm going to go ahead and step in today and speak my testimony a little bit. So I always ask God what I should, give in my testimony to people. I feel like there's certain times and place that certain people need to hear certain parts of my testimony, and not necessarily all of it. So that's why I ask him, because I know transformation comes from some other people's testimonies. So with that being said, this time, actually I just spoke this last Saturday at the Purple Tent event in Rochester, but I feel like maybe I should just put it out there completely on our Facebook as well, and maybe it'll help somebody else. So this part of my testimony is overcoming the fear of being alone, because that was my biggest fear my whole life, was I was going to be alone. I wasn't going to have anybody that was truly wanting me for me and, loved me at my best and still loved me at my worst. Sorry. So, I was the only child until I was 17, and I had a brother. I was poor, so I didn't get everything I wanted. It wasn't like that. My parents were partiers, so I really didn't see them much. I took care of myself a lot. Most of the time, I did a lot of things around the house that usually a mom or a dad would do for the child. I did for myself. I did a lot of the chores around the house. And I also was the one cooking myself dinner at times. Now I'm grateful that I did have that lesson, because I know how to cook today. So, I can't say it was all that bad. Everything happened for a reason. But anyways, in them moments I felt alone. I had a really good friend of mine that helped me out. She's like a sister to me. I've known her for 35 years. But as far as somebody inside my house at all times to me that lived with me, knew what I was going through, in that kind of way, I didn't have anybody. So I just felt alone. I was daddy's girl for a certain period of time, but things happened, and then he kind of kept coming and going, so I kind of lashed on my mom a little bit, but we really just didn't have we weren't able to stay on the same page most of the time, and so we didn't get along a lot. We kind of butted heads. But once my first sibling was born, I helped my mom raise him, because she's a single mom, because he is not my dad's son, and his dad was in jail. So with me and her pretty much the only ones that took care of him, so I pretty much became his second mom. She worked 12 hours a day. I did homeschooling, took care of him, but I kind of just felt alone in that, because I feel like I probably shouldn't have been the one having to do that, like I don't mind it. Looking back, it doesn't still bother me. I love my brother to death and would never change it for the world. And some of that helped me become a really good mom when I became a mom. So, and then I also had another sibling a year after that. It was a sister, and I was ecstatic. But then there's that same feeling I had with my brother, is they're so much younger than me. They're so close to what my children's ages are that, I can't, we're not on the same page in life. Not that we can't have conversation or hang out, but it's just not the same. So, yet again, have siblings, but I still don't feel like I have anybody. And I actually had 6 step siblings aside from that as well, who we never grew up together, so I never got to have an emotional bonding time with them. But throughout them years of growing up, I misbehaved. I was disrespectful. I smoked. I drank. I tried drugs. I snuck out. I tried to commit suicide. Why? I felt alone. I had a void in my heart that I was looking everywhere for it in the world. So whatever I could fill that void in the moment is what I chose. Most of the time it was looking for love in men, sleeping around, not proud of it by all means, but it is part of my testimony. I got married at 18 to somebody that I was off and on with since 97, got married in 2003. We had 4 beautiful kids together. America's is my oldest. She's 19 in college down at IU. Very proud of her. My second one is Hadley. She is getting ready to make that big leap into college this coming year. And so she's looking into colleges and stuff right now. And so she's about ready to be my second one that's out of the house. And they both make me proud because they're going way beyond where I went. Like, and that's what I've always wanted for my kids. Like, I think we all do, you know, like, you can have the best life, but you still want better for them. So anyways, my marriage was based on lies and infidelity on both sides. I can't say that I was the good one. Most of mine was in revenge. I know that now. It was trying to get back at them. But at the end of the day, my revenge didn't do anything to better the situation. It actually made it worse. It made me just as bad as him. He was military man, so I was alone a lot because he was deploying, and you know the military had control over him. So if they said he had to be at work all week and to the weekends, they got him all weekends to the weekends. You know, I didn't have a say so in that. So you know, I was young, having kids. You know, I'd had 3 girls before he had almost 3 girls for his first deployment. You know, the third daughter of ours, Nevaeh. She was born while he was overseas, and she's 15, getting ready to be 16 here in February, and she is a spitfire. She's wild, ornery, but an attitude, but she is just sassy, but all at the same time, that's part of her, and that character building will come within each one of those. I feel that will not be all negative. You know, some people take some of them things as, oh gosh, she's, you know, no, I'm not saying she's a bad child. She's my spunky one, you know. I love her to death. And then we hit a plateau about 8 years into our marriage, and I didn't know what direction to go anymore, and I took a separation, and that's when I cheated on him. After 8 years of being cheated on, that was the time I took revenge into my own hands and cheated on him in our marriage for the first time. And it broke me as well as I know it did break him. Or I thought, I guess, but really I guess maybe not. I don't know, I can't speak for him. But when I came back and we were working it out and everything, we decided to have another child. Not to make our relationship strong or anything, but we decided to try for a boy. Like I said, we'd had 3 girls. And so we get pregnant with our son. His name is Cody. We call him CJ because his dad is named Cody also. So he's going to be 12 in March. Mama's boy showed me a whole different love that I never in my life has experienced. But God truly gave me my kids to be able to hold on to hope when the storm hit. He knew, I know he knew. Not that he had it set up for us, but he knew that it was coming. And so, I mean, he set me up really well. My girls taught me how to mature really quick. I had to see myself in them, and that's scary. And my oldest son, he was the one that showed me what true love really meant. Me and his bond was never the same bond that me and the girls had, but it wasn't as a bond of loving either one of them more or less. It was just a difference in love. And I feel like boys do teach their mothers what that true love really is. But we got divorced year and a half, 2 years after that, pretty much. And we're discharged from the military. So once again, I'm alone in my life. I'm a single mother of 4 kids. I've been a stay-at-home mom the whole marriage. I really didn't have an out. I knew nothing different, you know. I kind of felt like I was a trap person. Like, maybe my whole marriage, I was just somebody else's slave, and there really was no love. There was no nothing. But I don't know. I think there was love. It's just, sometimes you go back and you think about things and you're like, ah. But anyway, so in the 6 years of being divorced, I'd had a couple guys that I dated for a couple months. So like 5 maybe months total out of the whole 6 years. I dated a couple guys, but just they didn't feel right. I felt like that there was more to it, that I was just choosing because I felt alone and I wanted that commitment with somebody, not that I was supposed to have that commitment with that person. So, what again? I felt alone. So I broke to God. I gave him all of it. I said, I don't know what else I need to do. I said, walk with me, and this has been about 4 or 5 years after being single. I had hit my breaking point. And so many times in them years of, trying to walk with God and get straight with him. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't like, oh, I got saved, I got baptized. It was easy, no, devil came after me. I fell to his temptations. I didn't understand things as I do now, so I was walking right back into things. But, they were all lessons I had to learn, and because of that, I know more now than I probably would have if I didn't. So, his words, though, to me were exactly, go back to your first love and try again. So, the only person I've ever heard titled to be my first love was our Heavenly Father itself. So, I started the process over again. I repented. I had asked for him to come up aside of me and help me and guide me and show me the right ways to be, what I needed to do to prepare myself for somebody of a helpmate, because that's truly what I wanted in this whole feeling alone, with somebody that truly wanted me, somebody to come aside of me. But God kept telling me in the midst of this, as you're not alone. You got 4 beautiful kids. They are yours, Heather. Yours. So you're not alone to the fullest. You have somebody that truly loves you and they look up to you, and you mean the world to them. If it wasn't for you here, they'd be some sad kids. So I was like, okay, well, I was a mess. I didn't feel worthy. I felt ashamed. I felt guilty. I felt disgusted. I felt like a horrible mother. He said to me, I never left you. I've been with you since before time. And I was like, what? And then it was just like, in that moment, it was just like an aha moment. I was like, I was never alone this whole time. You're right. I was never alone this whole time. I feared beginning to fade. My life started getting better and brighter. Not that I didn't still have little things, hiccups, along the way. Started learning how to take care of things when they arise. Just different tactics of ways to live life. God gave us the equipment to be able to fight all these battles, and we just got to figure out how to use them, and to do so you have to study. Then my husband now came into my life. I feel it was ordained by him. He had him locked in jail. He had me in my room bawling my eyes out, both of our darkest points, crying out to God, help us. And then here walks Greg into the church. I can't keep my eyes off him. I think I'm blessing in church. I'm going, God, blind me, right now. I can't stop. And, I know now it was just a spiritual attraction between the both of us. Literally, we are meant to be together, there is a different connection that I just was so drawn to him that I just couldn't stop. It really wasn't lusting like that. It was just some attraction of being drawn to me, and me to him. So we met in May of 2020. We started dating in June of 2020. We were engaged by August of 2020. We were married in November of 2020. We had our son in April of 2021. We were baptized together in May of 2021, and we started our own ministry in May 21 of 2022. So through all this, he continues showing me that, he had something for me along. I really was never alone, even though I felt it like I did here. The devil definitely made me really feel it. Um, but I had to feel it, because if I didn't feel it, I would never called out to God. And God wouldn't have revealed to me that He had never left me and gave me that peace in my heart that I needed in that. So I'm thankful, still again, for the stuff the trials, the errors, the hiccups, whatever you want to call them, I've went through. Then again, at that moment though, I felt like Jesus just wrapped His arms around me when Greg walked into my life and said, I sent him to you. I told you, go back to your first works. Try again. Love yourself. Love in me. Follow me. And I will bless you with everything that your heart is desired to have. And, and I'm thinking, I've been desiring for years, but I really truly know what that means now. But from that point, I can honestly say I have never had the fear of ever being alone again. God took that from me. He showed me. He replaced it, so I had that visual, and to know that I'm not alone even here. And I know no matter what, if anybody and everybody walks away from me at this point in time, He will never walk away from me. So the only thing I fear now in my life is the Lord. I mean, some of the things I see and hear, throughout the Bible, itself that they're putting in there, I'm just like, oh man, no, I will just be on His good side, because it's not that He's a horrible God at all, by all means. Everything He does is in love. But just some of the things that, if you don't have to walk through it, you can just learn without walking through it. It's a good thing, like not everybody wants to walk through something to get to learn it, but a lot of us have to. But now, since I have given my life to Christ and have been forgiven of my past sins, I continue to ask for sins to be forgiven and to be very much a repentful mind, because I know that I could fall daily. I have to take up my cross every day and, check myself. And, I know even in this walk, there's times where, the devil's trying to get at me. And, but I am thankful for the people that's taught me in my walk. I'm thankful that God's showed me a lot of it. He's kept me at home as a stay-at-home mom studying. And if I didn't have all this study time that I've been given by the Lord, giving me confirmation that I was supposed to stay home and be a stay-at-home mom to take care of our child, but also, and be here for the other children, but to also study, I wouldn't be where I am today. It's very true. Study to show yourself approved. It doesn't mean you're better than anybody. I'm not better than anybody in this world, but when you are able to study for yourself and get knowledge, it's a good feeling for yourself, and it makes you know that, you're learning and you're able to learn. And when you learn something and you have that knowledge inside of you, and then you can also take that knowledge and use it towards other people in this world, especially, ones that share the same life that you once were in, that God pulled you straight out of, and you get to go upside of them and help them. And, at the end of the day, that's reward in itself. Like, I don't need no money. I don't need no praise report for people saying you're a good person. I don't need that. Just knowing that I'm able to help in any way, be an ear, be a shoulder, be a place for them to come to, to live, to stay, whatever it be, So with that being said, that's my Transformation Tuesday. Don't give up. It's hard. But at the end of the day, it's completely worth it. I mean, it's going to take a minute for you maybe to see that, but the more and more you push through it, I promise you, there will be a breakthrough that is unbelievable, and you're going to look back and go, wow, why didn't I do this sooner? So if you don't know God, I really want you to press in and try to do your best just to listen to others about advice on that a little bit. Just don't always take it as somebody's harping you. Sometimes, people are just really do truly care about you and your spirit, and want good for you. And when you start wanting good for people that are your enemies, you know that you're truly starting to become a person of God, because there's some people in my life that I've had to let go of because of certain situations, but I never stopped praying. I never stopped loving them. They're human. We're all human. Like I said, I am human. I am still human. But I know I have a savior, and I know now. So because I know, it's so much easier now, even having to be, have the fiery darts shot at me, because back then, I don't know, like it's a whole different thing. That's all I can say. I don't know even what the words are to describe it at this point in time. It's just great. So I love you. We love you. I hope you get something out of this. I hope somebody, is helped through this. Share it if you know somebody that needs to hear it. I'm not opposed to that one bit. But we will be back tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to do Worship Wednesday or we're going to do Wisdom Wednesday. I'll talk to Greg, and I guess you'll just have to wait and find out tomorrow. Love y'all.